Welcome, beautiful damsels. Not all who wander are lost. Some are just too sharp to follow the herd. In a world obsessed with labels, the Sigma female stands as an enigma. A woman who operates outside societal norms, baffling everyone, especially ordinary men who try to decipher her. Statistically, only about 1% of women are truly classified as Sigmas, making them as rare as finding Wi-Fi in the wilderness. But here's the kicker. These women don't care about being understood. Their peculiar habits and unconventional ways leave people both fascinated and frustrated, like trying to assemble IKEA furniture without instructions. Why does she vanish without warning? Why does she spend hours analyzing a decision that seems trivial to everyone else? And why does her silence feel louder than words? These are the strange habits of Sigma females that ordinary men struggle to comprehend. And by the end of this, you'll either admire her or realize you were never ready to meet her. Number 1. Unpredictable acts of generosity. A Sigma female's acts of generosity are anything but ordinary. She gives in ways that catch people completely off guard, defying expectations and leaving others wondering what just happened. Her kindness isn't performative, transactional, or predictable. It's raw, deeply intentional, and often unnervingly precise. She doesn't give because she feels obligated, nor does she do it for recognition. In fact, she tends to avoid anything that might feel like a spotlight moment. Her generosity can surface at the most unexpected times, often directed toward people who may not even realize they need it. She'll quietly pay for a stranger's groceries or send a friend exactly what they needed before they could even ask. But her giving doesn't always look like a grand gesture. Sometimes it's something as simple as sharing a brutally honest piece of advice, the kind most people are too afraid to deliver. To her, generosity isn't always about comfort. It's about value. And sometimes that means delivering the truth others shy away from. This unpredictability can confuse ordinary men, who often mistake her actions for calculated moves or attempts to gain favor. What they fail to understand is that her generosity comes from a place of genuine care, but on her terms. She doesn't respond to begging or manipulation, and flattery won't sway her. She gives because she chooses to, and only when she feels it aligns with her internal sense of purpose. Her approach to generosity can feel disarming because it's so uncommon. She doesn't give equally to all, she gives meaningfully to a few. This scarcity makes her generosity hit harder, leaving a lasting impression on anyone lucky enough to receive it. For her, it's never about quantity. It's about the profound quality of what she chooses to offer. Number 2. Living in a constant state of self-interrogation. Living in a constant state of self-interrogation, a Sigma female examines her life with an intensity that others might find overwhelming. Every choice she makes is analyzed, every emotion dissected, and every action reviewed to understand the why behind it all. This isn't a surface-level habit, it's an ingrained practice, almost like a personal ritual. She doesn't do it to be dramatic or self-absorbed. For her, it's the only way to ensure she's living authentically and not simply going through the motions of life. While most people seek distractions to escape their inner thoughts, she dives straight into them, unapologetically confronting her fears, flaws, and contradictions. She'll replay conversations in her head, questioning whether she spoke her truth or merely conformed to what was expected. She'll scrutinize her emotions, asking herself if she felt something genuine or if it was influenced by external pressures. This level of introspection is exhausting, yes, but for her it's essential. It's how she grows, evolves, and stays aligned with her purpose. This habit can make her appear distant or overly serious to those who don't understand her. Ordinary men in particular might find it intimidating or perplexing, mistaking her self-reflection for insecurity. But it's quite the opposite. Her constant questioning is a sign of strength, not weakness, a refusal to settle for easy answers or complacency. What sets her apart is her brutal honesty with herself. She doesn't sugarcoat her mistakes or justify her shortcomings. Instead, she embraces them as opportunities to learn and improve. For the Sigma female, growth isn't a destination, it's a lifelong process fueled by her relentless need to understand herself and the world around her. This mindset, while heavy at times, is the foundation of her resilience and independence. Number 3. a strange affinity for broken things. A Sigma female has a peculiar attraction to things that others might dismiss as broken. Whether it's an old, battered book with pages falling out, a person carrying the weight of unseen scars, or an idea that seems too wild to work, she is drawn to them with an almost magnetic pull. For her, these imperfections tell stories of resilience, of survival, and of untapped potential. She doesn't view brokenness as a flaw, but as an opportunity. Where others see chaos, she sees the possibility for transformation. A chipped teacup isn't trash to her. It's a vessel with character, proof of a life lived. Similarly, she finds beauty in people who have been through storms because their cracks and flaws reveal depth, complexity, and authenticity. To her, perfection is boring and often an illusion. This habit isn't born out of pity or a desire to fix anyone or anything. She doesn't see herself as a savior. Instead, she appreciates the rawness of broken things, their honesty and their refusal to conform. This perspective makes her incredibly patient and compassionate, but it also means she can sometimes frustrate people who don't understand why she invests her energy in things others have written off. Her affinity for the broken also feeds her creativity and problem-solving abilities. She enjoys piecing things back together, often in ways that make them more unique than they were before. Whether it's giving a second life to an old idea or helping someone rediscover their worth, she thrives in the process of transformation. Ultimately, her love for broken things reflects her own complex nature. Just as she values the imperfections in others, she embraces her own, understanding that it's the cracks that let the light in. Number 4, an aversion to crowds, but a magnet for attention. The Sigma female's relationship with attention is paradoxical. She avoids crowds and large social gatherings, preferring the calm of solitude over the chaos of group dynamics. Yet when she does step into a social setting, she becomes the unintentional center of attention. There's something about her that captivates people, an energy that commands notice without seeking it. She doesn't rely on loudness, flamboyance, or performative charm to draw others in. In fact, her quiet detachment often does the exact opposite of what you'd expect. It creates intrigue. People are naturally curious about those who don't clamor for validation, and her composed demeanor sparks questions. Who is she? What's her story? Why isn't she trying to fit in like everyone else? These silent questions create a gravitational pull that even she sometimes doesn't realize she possesses. Ironically, this magnetism is a source of discomfort for her. She isn't someone who thrives on being in the spotlight. She doesn't crave admiration or social affirmation. If anything, she finds it draining. Her aversion to crowds is rooted in her preference for authenticity over superficial connections, and the noise of a group setting often drowns out what's real. But despite her discomfort, her ability to hold attention without effort is part of her allure. It's not about what she says or does, it's about the way she exists. Her confidence, independence, and mystery make her stand out in a world where many fight to blend in. This unintentional magnetism can frustrate ordinary men, who may misinterpret her disinterest in attention as arrogance. In truth, it's neither arrogance nor an act. It's simply who she is, a woman who values her space and peace, yet unintentionally becomes the focal point wherever she goes. It's a contradiction she's learned to navigate, often leaving others more intrigued than they were before. Number 5, unconventional emotional responses. The Sigma female's emotional responses are anything but typical, and this unpredictability often leaves others baffled, especially men who are accustomed to more conventional emotional cues. In moments of tension where most people would raise their voices or storm out, she might chuckle softly as if she's in on a private joke. Her laughter isn't meant to mock, but to diffuse the intensity or mask her own discomfort. On the flip side, in situations that call for visible emotional reactions, like someone pouring out their feelings, she may remain composed, offering nothing more than a calm, steady gaze. This emotional detachment isn't a lack of empathy. It's her way of processing. She doesn't operate on surface-level emotions or perform reactions just to meet societal expectations. Instead, she observes, internalizes, and chooses her responses with precision. While others might let their emotions spill out uncontrollably, she channels hers inward, analyzing them in private before deciding if they're worth sharing. This unconventional approach can be deeply unsettling to ordinary men who often misread her responses. Her laughter in an argument might feel dismissive, when in reality it's her way of staying grounded. Her calm demeanor in an emotional moment might be seen as cold, though she's actually weighing the best way to respond without making the situation worse. Her unpredictability challenges the notion that emotions must follow a script. She refuses to be boxed into predictable patterns of anger, sadness, or joy. To her, emotional intelligence isn't about reacting but understanding, and that often means breaking the norms of how one should respond. Men who crave validation through drama or overt emotional displays often struggle to understand her. But those who look deeper will see a woman who feels just as intensely as anyone else. She simply chooses to express it in ways that are uniquely her own. Number 6. Unapologetic contrarianism. The Sigma female has a knack for swimming against the tide of popular opinion, but not out of sheer rebellion or attention-seeking. Her unapologetic contrarianism is rooted in a deep-seated distrust of mass enthusiasm. When everyone else is raving about a new trend, idea, or person, she instinctively steps back, asking, "What's the catch?" It's not that she enjoys being difficult, far from it. She simply refuses to accept anything at face value, especially when it's been blindly embraced by the crowd. To her, consensus can often signal complacency. She's wired to analyze, question, and dig deeper, searching for the flaws and hidden complexities that others overlook in their excitement. This habit makes her an expert at spotting hype for what it is, whether it's a best-selling book that everyone claims is life-changing or a charismatic leader that everyone trusts without question. She scrutinizes it all. Her skepticism often leads her to insights that others miss, making her perspective invaluable, but also frustrating for those who just want her to go with the flow. Ordinary men, in particular, may find this trait challenging to handle. They might mistake her questioning as cynicism or negativity when, in reality, it's her way of seeking truth. She doesn't argue for the sake of argument. She challenges ideas because she values depth and authenticity over shallow agreement. Her contrarianism isn't limited to external things. It extends to herself. She questions her own beliefs and decisions just as rigorously, ensuring that her views are genuinely hers and not influenced by the crowd. While her tendency to push back against popular opinion can make her seem stubborn, it's also what makes her one of the most intellectually independent people you'll ever meet. For her, conformity isn't just uncomfortable, it's a betrayal of her core values. Number 7. Low-key power dressing. The Sigma female's approach to power dressing is a masterclass in understatement. She doesn't rely on flashy colors, towering heels, or statement accessories to command attention. Instead, her wardrobe is a quiet rebellion against the notion that dominance needs to be loud. She opts for minimalist outfits, clean lines, neutral tones, and functional designs that exude confidence without saying a word. What sets her apart isn't what she wears, but how she wears it. There's an effortless precision to her style that makes even the simplest outfit feel purposeful. A plain white shirt paired with well-fitted jeans or a sleek black dress can seem intimidating when she's the one wearing it. It's not about the clothes themselves, but the energy she carries. Her confidence transforms simplicity into something powerful, leaving others wondering how she manages to make basic look extraordinary. This low-key approach often catches people off guard. Unlike alpha types who make their presence known through bold fashion choices, she doesn't demand attention. She quietly commands it. Her style reflects her personality, independent, unpretentious, and self-assured. She dresses for herself, not for trends or external validation. Ordinary men might struggle to understand her understated elegance. They're used to associating power with extravagance, and her minimalism challenges that notion. To them, it can feel disarming. How does she exude so much authority without trying? Her secret lies in the subtleties, the way she carries herself, the care she takes in choosing timeless pieces, and her refusal to rely on adornments to amplify her presence all speak volumes. For the Sigma female, power dressing isn't about showing off, It's about embodying strength in its purest, most effortless form. Number 8. Obsessive rituals that border on OCD. The Sigma female is no stranger to obsessive rituals that, at first glance, might appear eccentric or even borderline obsessive-compulsive. Whether it's eating the same meal every day for weeks, meticulously arranging her belongings in a specific order, or sticking to a rigid morning routine, these habits aren't just quirks. They're her way of imposing order on an unpredictable world. Her rituals provide her with a sense of control, a sanctuary of structure amid life's chaos. While others might see monotony in her choices, she finds comfort and focus in repetition. Eating the same breakfast daily, for example, isn't about a lack of imagination. It's about eliminating unnecessary decisions so she can channel her mental energy elsewhere. Her routines are deliberate, designed to streamline her life and maintain her inner equilibrium. To those who know her, these habits can be perplexing or even amusing. Ordinary men might wonder why she's so fixated on seemingly trivial details like ensuring her workspace is arranged in a specific way, or following a nighttime wind-down ritual that feels almost ceremonial. What they don't realize is that these practices are the bedrock of her productivity and peace of mind. Her rituals aren't just about control, they're about creating a personal rhythm that allows her to thrive. In a world that often feels loud and chaotic, these small acts of discipline keep her grounded. However, she's not rigid to the point of inflexibility. If something truly disrupts her routine, she can adapt, though it may take a toll on her energy. These habits reflect her deep need for balance and intentionality. While they may seem excessive to outsiders, they're a crucial part of her self-care and her way of building a life that aligns with her values and ambitions. Number 9. Deep relationships with fictional characters. For a Sigma female, the idea of forming deep emotional connections with fictional characters is not some passing phase. It's a vital part of her emotional landscape. While others might gravitate toward large social circles and the noise of constant interaction, she often finds more satisfaction in her relationships with characters from books, movies, or even video games. These fictional figures offer something real relationships sometimes can't: depth, consistency, and a kind of emotional honesty that feels less complicated and more fulfilling. The beauty of these relationships lies in their reliability. Fictional characters don't disappoint in the way real people sometimes do. They don't betray trust, break promises, or reveal unpredictable flaws. Their stories are carefully crafted, and their motivations, even when complex, remain consistent throughout their arcs. For the Sigma female, this stability is a rare comfort in a world that often feels turbulent and unreliable. She's drawn to the emotional complexity of these characters, how they evolve, struggle, and grow. Whether it's the quiet strength of a literary heroine or the introspective journey of a misunderstood anti-hero, she sees pieces of herself in these figures. They become mirrors, reflecting her own experiences and offering a safe space for her to process her feelings. In a way, they're the ideal companions, offering companionship without the emotional baggage or unpredictability of real-world relationships. For ordinary men who seek a more traditional bond, this may seem odd or even isolating. But for the Sigma female, it's not about escaping reality. It's about seeking solace in the characters that resonate with her, providing a form of emotional connection that feels more authentic and true to her own nature. She doesn't need to follow the crowd to feel fulfilled. She finds comfort in the worlds that only she can truly understand. Number 10. A mindset bordering on paranoia. The Sigma female often operates with a mindset that can seem a bit paranoid to those around her. While others go about their day-to-day lives, assuming things will unfold as expected, she's already predicting potential pitfalls and planning for contingencies that most people wouldn't even consider. Her mind is always a few steps ahead, weighing out every possible outcome, even the worst-case scenarios. This heightened awareness of the risks others tend to overlook is what allows her to remain calm when others panic. Though her caution can sometimes be mistaken for pessimism or unnecessary anxiety, she views it as survival intelligence. She doesn't live in fear, but in preparedness. To her, being aware of possible disasters, failures, or challenges is not a sign of distrust in the world, but a smart way to mitigate them before they occur. She's always thinking of ways to protect herself, her goals, and her emotional well-being from the unexpected. This habit can make her seem overly cautious or even pessimistic to those who don't share her perspective. For most people, it's hard to comprehend why she's already thinking about the potential fallout from a situation that hasn't even happened yet. But for the Sigma female, it's a matter of control. It's not about expecting the worst, it's about preparing for it, just in case. Her foresight isn't about paranoia, it's about empowerment. By being hyper-aware of every possibility, she ensures that when the unexpected happens, whether it's a personal setback or a global crisis, she's ready, grounded, and able to handle it without being caught off guard. In a world that constantly pushes for conformity, the Sigma female stands as a testament to the power of individuality, complexity, and quiet strength. Her habits, while often misunderstood, reveal a woman who refuses to settle for mediocrity, who seeks depth in every corner of life, from the relationships she forges with people and ideas to the way she navigates the world on her own terms. She is not defined by trends, societal expectations, or the approval of others. Instead, she builds her own path, one that is marked by fierce independence, introspection, and authenticity. What makes her extraordinary isn't the obvious traits, but the subtle ways in which she operates. Her ability to remain unshaken in chaos, her unwavering commitment to self-reflection, and her uncanny knack for finding meaning where others see only the mundane. She isn't a figure to be easily understood or boxed in, and that's exactly the point. The Sigma female invites us to see life through a different lens, to challenge norms, and to embrace the beauty in our contradictions. So the next time you encounter a Sigma female, don't be quick to judge or label her. Instead, appreciate her for what she truly is. A force of nature, unique and unapologetically herself, navigating a world that isn't always ready for her brand of brilliance. If you've found yourself captivated by the world of the Sigma female and all that makes her fascinating, then don't miss out on more thought-provoking insights like these. Hit that subscribe button and join our community of curious minds who are always looking to understand the layers of complexity that define us. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. So go ahead, subscribe now, and let's keep uncovering the extraordinary together. Thanks, damsels, for tuning in. See you in the next vid. Bye and stay blessed.